Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision-making expert. Today, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about a two-letter word. N-O. No! There, I said it out loud. Sometimes we're afraid to say it out loud. Sometimes you really want to say it out loud. Sometimes somebody told us not to say it out loud, even when we're real little, you know. Oh, no, they're in the no stage. No, 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 you can't say no. What if, just for this amount of time, we don't have to tell anybody, what if we give ourselves permission to say, no, no, thank you, I'd rather not. No way. No. What if? Well, I'm going to give myself permission. You can, I hope you will too. I won't tell. Even if I hear a really loud no, I won't tell. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I was counseling with a couple that are going to get married soon. One of the questions I always ask them is, what are their no's? And he very quickly looked at her, put his arm around her, and he looked at her and he said, I will never, there are no no's for you. No no's. No no's. And I asked him just one more time. And he looked at her again and he said, there are no no's. Babe, I don't have any no's with you. I thought, wow, okay. And then she had a few no's of hers of what was okay for her in a relationship, what wasn't, what could be a problem. And so we talked about that, and he never brought up any more. So I let people be where they are, because that's where they are. And so the next week they came, and I just decided to check, and I said, find any no's during the weekend? And she laughed, and he laughed, and I said, oh, tell me. And so she said that they were finding a color of paint for a bedroom. It would be her office and a guest room. So she was looking at different colors. And she asked him about this and about that and about that. And she found what she thought was a very lovely green. Guess what? He said, you know, I really don't like green. And I really don't like that color. And she looked and she grinned and she said, was that a no? And he kind of looked around and he grinned and he said, yeah, that was a no. So the next day they went to the farmer's market. And they've known each other for quite a while and nobody knows everything about everyone. And so here was some beautiful eggplant. She thought it was just lovely. It was fresh out of the garden. She grabbed for it. And she saw an expression on his face. And he paused for a moment and then he said, you know, he said, buy that for you. And I don't like eggplant. Of all the vegetables, I don't like eggplant. So she's a fun person. And she looked and she said, huh, was that a no? And he laughed and he said, yeah, that was a no. And she said, okay, so we have two no's. And then they went along for the weekend and they collected 5 no's from him. And those are the ones that he told me and she told me about during this session. And I just looked and I said, wow. I said, did you just make up those no's so you would have some? And we all laughed about it. And he said, no. And he said, I realized that I do have a lot of no's. And when you ask me, I was thinking that if I said that I had some no's, it might hurt her feelings, or she might think that I wasn't a cooperative person, or she might think that I was really a negative person. And he listed a lot of things that for him, he thought that no indicated. And so as much as possible, he would not say no. And then we talked a little bit more and realized that sometimes he actually said yes when he meant no. And then she asked, well, if you say yes when you mean no, how do I know when you say yes and you mean yes? Good question, eh? Good question. So, there is a value to being able to say no. The secret is how you say no. Sometimes you just want to just spit it out and say, no way, no, 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 no. Other times you want to say, well, I'd rather do this, I'd rather eat that. Or you can say, I prefer. There are various degrees and various ways that you can say no. One is just blurting it out. The other is finding more gentle ways to say no. And as long as all of those ways help you be true to yourself in terms of being able to say no and realizing other people are not going to die. They're going to live. Everything's going to ultimately turn out okay. And most of all, you and they will be able to trust when you say yes. And they're going to learn that. They're going to learn that when you say no, you mean no. When you say yes, you mean yes. And that is very, very valuable. It's less confusing. Maybe sometimes they might not like you saying no. Maybe you might not like them saying no. And that's part of our daily life. Because ultimately, they're going to know that you stand for yourself in your circle and that your no is not against them. It's actually for you. And then they have the freedom to say no to you when they have a no. And if two people or more can practice that, where they can trust the yes, they can trust the no, communication is so much easier. Because sometimes, how often has somebody said, yeah, I can do that, or yes, or whatever. Inside, there's just some little wiggle squiggle that you don't necessarily believe it. So, how often do you run around saying, do you really want to do it? Well, now you don't have to. Are you sure? Oh, we don't have to do it. And it goes on and on and on. Because you're really trying to figure out, do I trust the no? Do I trust the yes? And the other person gets really confused because they don't know why you don't just leave them alone. They've told you an answer and they're going to stand by it. So when you have discussions, maybe in the very beginning, let the other person know that you would really want them to be able to say yes and no, and for the two of you to be able to discuss it. And then you can learn to believe a yes, believe a no. And you don't have to have all this in-between conversation that drives both of you kind of crazy, don't you think? I do. So practice with your no. And if anyone ever says, do you have a no? Oh, please tell them I have lots of no's, even if I can't remember them right now. All right? Stand boldly in your circle. Express your no's. Say your yeses. And write that story that you want to tell and the life that you love so much. You want to live and share it. All right. No! There you go. Have fun with your no's. Have fun with your yeses. Take care. Come back. You know I will be looking. I'll be looking for you. All right. Take care for now. Bye.